Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're working on the old Stoppie Jalopy. She's had some problems just with temp control. So I started out with simple things like I changed out the thermostat to a lower temp of 165, and she still get up there and push 180, 195 on the temps. I put an overflow expansion tank on because she's spitting all the water out on the ground, and then I had to keep refilling the radiator. So then I bought a cap, put a cap on there, and it was at that point that I realized that I was still having some water seeping around the cap, but it wasn't the cap, it was actually the filler neck on there. So what I've had to do so far is this thing's on there, so I just heated her up with the old propane torch there, heated this part here, and grabbed it with a pair of pliers and pulled it off. Took her to the grinding wheel and brushed her off real good with the brush on there, cleaned it up. Come out here and kind of put a little heat to this and took a steel brush and cleaned this out the best I can to get that clean around there. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to drain just a little bit of the water out, probably not all of it. I'd like to keep the radiator a little cool while I'm heating this up, just to keep the tank from separating from the fins. So and then we're going to go ahead and put this filler neck back on there like she came off, and got some flux and some solder just like you would use on copper plumbing, and that's what we're going to go back with. And I'm just going to heat up this part again here, and flux it all in and heat this part real good and go around. And it's a little difficult to get to the backside here, and maybe that's why it's prone to leak, is because it's kind of a deep well right here to get down in there good with some solder. So we're going to resolder it. Hope that seals it up and allows the system to pressurize like it should, and I think that'll help with the heating issues and just getting the air out of the system. And then hopefully with the addition of the overflow tank there, we'll be able to recover our coolant and not have to keep putting coolant in it every time we drive on a hot day. All right guys, so what we have: flux, solder, propane torch, and some pliers so I can kind of manipulate this thing when I need to, should I need to. So we're going to flux this up real good, and then we're going to put some heat on it. I'll drain the water back just a little bit. I'm hoping it doesn't pull any up off the top in that radiator. So we'll flux this up all real good, so it'll pull that solder down in there when it gets good and hot. Put a little around the lip here. And then we'll pay close attention to how this thing's to be oriented on here, because we have just enough room here to get the overflow hose on. So we get her set down in there about like that. And we'll apply some heat. Let's see if we can get some solder down in there. I mean, there's hardly any room. But we'll see if we can get her going and flowing. And try not to catch anything on fire in here while we're at it. Since that's a critical area over here, I'm going to hit it first. Get the hard part out of the way. Maybe. Have to move around on it. Trying to get some heat on her head. Tricky, guys. She wants to move around. Once she sticks, she's stuck. There we go. Now we're getting a little solder action going here. Get the pool in there all the way around. Ah, come on now. Suck it in there, baby. Good and hot. Get some solder in there all the way around. Keep our filler working on it. Come on now. I'd like to stick a little more back down in here. Should take it. I think that moving around may help us get it sucked in there a little bit. So all we can do now is let her cool down a little bit, and put the pressure to her, see how she sticks. Clean all this up around here so we'll know, have it good and dry, so we'll know if she's leaking or not leaking when we put the heat to her. Not real difficult. It's just like plumbing in some copper pipes in the house. It's just in this particular case here, you're getting down in that valley there. It can be a little tricky. So we're gonna let that cool down just for a little bit. Doesn't have to get real cool. And then we'll put a little more coolant in there. And then we will put our cap on and we'll run her around the block and pull her back open and see if she sticks. All right, let's take her for a spin. See how she goes. Now it's a fairly cool day. We took her out and just run her up to about 60 miles an hour, which is pushing it for this thing. But as you can see on my cheap eBay gauge here, maybe you can't, but she's a little over the 180 mark. And this thing's got a 160 thermostat in her. So I'm still not real happy with the results, but so we're going to let it sit here and heat soak for a minute. It's going to get even hotter. Pop the old engine cover up here. Let's see what's going on under there. Hopefully it don't blow up in my face. Yeah, we got some heat coming out of there, but it looks like we're holding. That looks pretty dry, so that's good news. So we will let it sit here and soak for a minute. And I didn't pay attention to what pressure cap I bought. I should have. Looks like it's a 13. But we'll let her heat soak and see if she bubbles into the overflow here. But definitely don't see any water coming out the back side of the radiator. That's good on the front. So that's all good. This thing looks dry pretty much all the way around the cap, best I can tell. No steaming or anything. So it's really not that hot of a day by standards here in Oklahoma. It's probably in the low 90s, which is not bad. So really disappointed that this thing's not handling this any better than it is. But I guess 190's not too bad. She's heat soaking on up there, getting closer to that, you know, around the 200 mark there. So not sure what to do at this point. Maybe look at a new radiator. Definitely need to get the belly pan to force the air up into the radiator while we're going down the road, and maybe that'll help keep it a little cooler. I have not. This is a water pump that was on it when I got it. I don't know how old it is. I don't know how well it's moving water. I guess I need to check when it cools down, just kind of see how much water we're getting pushed through here. And that may be the next thing, is to put a water pump on it, or maybe just a better radiator. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I will keep you posted in the comments as to how this thing goes, but it's certainly, at this point, just given that it's not air conditioned, got lots of windows, it's black, it gets hot in there with the, you know, you're sharing the cab with the engine. And though I had that insulated pretty well with some foam insulation, it still can get a little toasty in here. So makes it just for a good warm weather driver. But she is fun to drive. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good one.